What is going on, Ivors? This is your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about when the benefits stop for intermittent fasting. Stay tuned. Okay, there are a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes to intermittent fasting, and one of those things are, when do the benefits for intermittent fasting stop? Now I'm going to tell you what that time frame is, and if you should go ahead and stop by that time, or if you should keep on going. And I'm going to answer it very quickly, not to keep you in suspense. That time is 48 hours. Now, if you want to understand why it's 48 hours, I'm going to go ahead and explain that right now in this video. For example, your HGH, human growth hormone, goes up at a very steady clip, and even the famous Dr. Jason Fung, when it comes to the intermittent fasting space, has also agreed that once it hits the 48-hour mark, the human growth hormone no longer continues to increase and actually starts to increase slower and slower as it gets to the 48-hour mark, but it starts to taper off and go down back to normal levels. Just on HGH increase alone, there isn't any reason for you to surpass the 48-hour mark. And then we move on to something that's a little bit more detrimental than losing your HGH increase little by little after the 48-hour mark, and that thing is called glucogenesis. What's glucogenesis? Well, glucogenesis is when your body decides to break up some of your muscle tissues to turn it into actual glucose. This is because you have been fasting for much too long, and your body has to start to compartmentalize where it's getting its energy from. Yes, ketones come into place, body fat also, but your body cannot 100% for such a long time just use one or two specific locations for your energy. Research shows that you can lose about 1/4 muscle per day if you continue to fast past the 48-hour mark. So that's 1/4 muscle per day if it's 48 hours plus. That means that you don't even necessarily have to be past that 48-hour mark. You're already starting to see the diminishing returns. Number one, your HGH has reached its peak and is now tapering off slowly. Number two, glucogenesis is now targeting your muscles little by little, not something grand, but what's the point of even getting into that position when you can stop fasting by 48 hours? And now let me get into the most misconceived notion when it comes to intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting. Now, do not get me wrong, I have nothing against prolonged fasting, especially if it's about 7 days or so, but it doesn't have these astronomical benefits that a lot of people claim. For example, autophagy has been completely misconstrued to show that it only gets activated within 4 to 5 days of fasting. That is not true, and the contrary of that, based on the studies that have been done, which none have been done on humans, all have been done on mice. That word is, it's mices, not mice. It's actually mice, and if I say mices, I will get ripped in the comment section. The studies show that by 24 hours, your autophagy has increased by 300%. The way they determined that autophagy was being stimulated was by testing the autophagosomes. Autophagosomes are cellular organisms that degrade dysfunctional protein. Now, they can see it in the liver, and they can also see it in the brain functions. They actually used the two to combine the results to determine if autophagy was taking place. Autophagy was taking place from 0 to 24 hours. 300% of the autophagy stimuli was increased. By 48 hours, it was only 30% more. You can keep moving forward, but you can see that the returns are diminishing. Coupled with the fact that your HGH has peaked and glucogenesis has started, and autophagy is not increasing at the high clip that it did from 0 to 24 hours, what's the point? Now, when I pushed against the 1-month fasting that Pro Gamer Jay did, it's because, number one, I care for your safety. Number two, it's not necessary. If you want to do a prolonged fast, don't go further than 7 days in my opinion. Technically, you don't even have to do 7 days. The only benefit that you will get from a prolonged fast is that your insulin will remain completely gone and insulin sensitive for the entire process, which will allow you to target fat much more effectively, because it will continue to pull from your fat for those 7-day period, and even for the 30-day period, and even for the 400th day if you continue to fast without eating. The autophagy, the HGH increase, and the possibility of glucogenesis, to me, pushes those fasting options out of the realm of my selection. I much rather intermittent fast within the spectrum of 48 hours and know that I am kicking on all cylinders when it comes to not just the weight loss of intermittent fasting, but also all of the health benefits that come with intermittent fasting. There you go, guys. That is the video for today. I hope this was very helpful for you. And I know a lot of people have that misconception of autophagy, so I do have the link to the study at the bottom in the description. Please go ahead and click it. It is a little difficult to read for those who don't read studies often, but the diagram is very clear, and hopefully my expression of the diagram in this video was enough for you to understand it. One added note, guys, that I want to leave you with is that I am in the state of Florida, and specifically in the Miami location. I'm going to try my best to be as safe as possible. I'm hoping that no one out there is worried. I have shuttered my house. I have protected my house. I've bought the needed supplies. I have flashlights and everything like that. And I will try to protect my house as much as I can. One thing that this may affect, however, which I hope it does not, is my release of my videos, as if there's flooding or anything like that. It may be very difficult when the power goes out for me to continue to pump out the videos from here, but I will definitely try my best to make sure that that doesn't happen. Not much I can do, but I will try my best. I have bought sandbags. We are protecting the house as much as possible. Hurricane Irma is coming our way. I am not on the coast side though, I am more inland, so I am not in the storm surge location where it can get flooded. So there's the plus for that, but the winds are gonna be very strong. So hopefully me and my family and everyone here in Florida and everyone who's going to be affected around the world or around this Western hemisphere is protected as much as possible, and as many lives that can be saved can be saved. Hopefully it isn't a very extremely devastating hurricane, but I will keep you up to date, guys. This video was not recorded on Sunday, but it will drop on Sunday, so if by Sunday everything is fine, so just keep that in mind, guys. If something happens by Wednesday that you don't see a video, maybe my equipments were damaged or something like that, I will try to protect my equipment as much as possible, as well as my family. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you hopefully on Wednesday. Peace out.